Hi, this is Matt from Lamination System. Today I'm going to run through a setup of how to single-side laminate with normal BOPP, which is used for business cards or also commonly known as Celloglazing. We're going to set up and run one side. So what I'm doing is I'm starting with the machine as a setup standard, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove a few parts that I don't need while I'm doing single-side laminating. So I'm removing the rewind mandrel from the top, which is the one closest to you when you're standing at the front of the machine. I'm also going to move to the rear of the machine, and because this is single-sided, I'm going to remove our little cutting cooling bar here, and I'm also going to place that underneath, because I'm going to collect the job on my rewind on the back of the machine, which is going to help me negate curl, which is always got to be a consideration when you're laminating single-sided. So what I'm going to do is just line up my key and my mandrel here. And basically drop the mandrel back in. Now all these machines, you'll notice all the mandrels have markings on them here. So this roll is 320 wide, so basically I can line up with the 116, and 16 is 320, or 32. Just go up. So what I'm going to do, this one, there's a little bit of masking tape residue on the film, and because this is such a thin film, I don't want to get any residue or anything onto my roller, or else it will show on our job as we run it. Also with Celloglazing, I'm going to back pretty much all of our tension off. So I just want to put this on as naturally as I can. So from that point, I'm just going to bring my film under this idle bar here, which just basically helps us hold the film closer to the roller and helps it heat better. Then I'm going to lift that over the front of the machine, and you'll see as soon as it hits the heat, it becomes tacky. So from that point, I'm just going to grab some setup sheets. So usually if you keep a setup sheet, which is basically just a piece of scrap or blank cut to the size you need, I can use that to push through the web of the film. I can then come to my side, close my rollers down, and my machine, you can see at the moment, I'm hot. I'm set at 105 degrees. I'm in run, so that's running forwards, and I'm going to press the auto, and now my machine will start running. So you can see it's taking the sheet through, and if you move around the back of the machine, you'll see the sheet is now through both sets of rollers, and the rollers are shut. So what I'm going to do at that point is just reach over and stop the machine running, and then I'm going to take this mandrel and put a spare core on it. Find my keyed end again. Sorry, drop in and then find my keyed end. And now what I'm going to do is tape that first setup sheet I've got onto the core at the back. Make sure I've got some tension on the back core. And then basically I can press the auto button again, get the machine running, and I can just make sure that's going to wind up and everything the way I want it to do, which it is. So that's now ready to collect our laminated job. So at that point I will stop it, and we've got to remember when we're laminating single-sided, if there is no sheet in the machine, this sticky glue that's activated by heat will stick to the bottom. So when you're laminating single-sided, you always have to have a sheet in the machine. So what we have also on the table here, we've got the guides. So as I said before, we've just lined our film up at 16 and 16. So if I bring this in to a little bit wider than 16, and the same on the other side, that's going to help me guide each sheet into the machine. So now I'm just going to grab some sheets to run through the laminator. And these are a standard size sheet. So these are an SRA3. So what I'm going to do is get the first one in here. Hit my auto. And as you can see, by bringing the guides in just a little bit wider than the film, it's going to make sure it's in the center of the machine. And it's going to make sure we don't skew off. And then basically there we are. We're set up for single-sided. So what I generally recommend is I will run 1 or 2 sheets, and then I'll go and have a look at the job at the back and make sure it looks the way I want it to. I don't just assume everything is going to be perfect. So this is single-sided. So with single-sided, as I said, you always have to have a sheet in there, so I'm overlapping it. So what I might do now is move around the back of the machine while it's still running. Have a good look at my sheet, look at the finish. Looks really good, nice and shiny. There's no marks I can see in it. So if I'm happy with my sheet, if you're concerned with your sheet, you could take a sheet off now and check it and test it and look at it. So now I'm happy with that sheet. I'm going to increase my speed a little and just keep feeding the sheets. So what I was saying before, I need to overlap the next sheet onto that area. If I don't, I will get the film sticking to the bottom roller. So basically I drop that between the guides, and then I just move it pretty much with the speed of the machine. And that's pretty much set up and running single-sided. So I'll run a few more sheets for you. And then we will pull them off the machine, get the finished product. And what I've done is just fed another waste sheet, which I've now stopped on. And then so we come around the back here. I'm just going to start a weakness in the film, because this type of film, when it has a weakness in it, it will basically continue to split and come off. So there's 2 ways of doing this now. So I would usually unlock my mandrel, come around till my key is lined up. I'd remove the mandrel and reverse it, because you can pull it off the other way, but realistically this way is a lot easier. So basically now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a knife, and if I put a little nick in that sheet, the sheet will just come off. So obviously I could cut all the way through it, but it's not necessary. So basically we just remove our sheets. And we've now laminated single-sided. So why I've wound them onto the drum is to gain that curl. Because single-sided lamination will always, eventually, given enough time, will try and go the other way. So what I'm trying to do is naturally curl it down so that when we turn this into a book cover, it's going to sit in nice and tight. It's not going to be the opposite way around. You're not going to fold your book and have the edges sticking out. So that's why we decurl onto a drum. That's a basic run through of single-sided. If I was doing a lot more sheets, I could even move this roller back out again. If I was doing a lot of sheets, and you can also bring it round to the front and place it up here, which brings it up higher into your vision and can make it even easier to get your sheets off. So there's a few variations of options, but it'll really be down to personal preference. But that's pretty much sums up single side laminating with the 650. Thank you.